Common motherfucking sense in this bitch. AKA the soul of Andromeda, the night of Venus. And speaking of Venus, shout out to all the Libras out there. Sun, moon, and ascendants. But I already did my little energy reading for the Libras because this is Libra season right now at the time of this video. And whenever we're in a Venus dominant sign like Taurus or Libra or even Pisces for that matter, during those times, we can find ourselves more infatuated with the idea of love. During times like this, during these types of seasons, we might feel more inclined to jump into a relationship. We might feel more needy for love and affection. You know what I'm saying? And sure, we can mention Venus when it comes to that, but that's not all Venus is about, you know? So to only use Venus during these transits is irresponsible. See, the thing is, when we're talking about love and we're talking about connecting with other people, we have to talk about Eros. Eros is your ability to attract another person to you. How do you expect to ever fall in love with someone without first attracting that person? You understand what I'm saying? So when we're talking about matters of the heart, when we're talking about relationship goals and shit like that, we need to mention Eros. And I don't appreciate the fact that no astrologers out there right now are doing any Eros-based readings. Why is that? Why is it that everyone always clings to astrology for finding more love or finding more money, finding career opportunities and things like that, but we never bring up Eros, the planet, the asteroid that's all about your creative endeavors, your creative direction, your love direction. But it's not all just about Eros neither. Because not only do you have to attract someone to you, but you have to be attracted to someone. Which brings us to Psyche, the other side of Eros, the other asteroid, which is basically like the equivalent to Mars and Venus. Eros and Psyche, that's all about your attraction, your ability to attract and how you get attracted. Now, why wouldn't you mention those things when we're talking about romantic interests? For example, let's say you was a love coach or whatever the case may be, and you was coaching someone on going and getting a new partner or whatever the case may be. Would you not mention attraction at all? Is physical attraction not a part of the equation? Is sexual attraction not a part of the equation? Is mental attraction not a part of the equation? These are the things that Eros and Psyche represent. Yet for some reason, these things keep getting left out of the equation when we're talking about relationships. So, if you're someone who is, looking for more love, looking for more love opportunities, if you're having relationship problems right now and you're looking to astrology to help give you ideas and insights on how to solve those problems, well, that's where I come into play. Because I am going to start to create that lane for astrologers. where we do focus on Eros and we do focus on Psyche and we do focus on the deeper aspects of the relationship. So for this Libra season, Eros is going to be in the sign of Aquarius, and Psyche is going to be in the sign of Scorpio. Now, throughout this video, you're going to see me scroll through my notes. So I'm not on the internet. Like I said, astrologers aren't even talking about this shit right now. So I don't want you to feel like everything that I'm saying, I'm regurgitating from somewhere else. Okay, all this is being personally channeled. Now, let's dive right into it. If you have Eros, again, Eros is all about your ability to attract. And Psyche is all about where you get attracted. But if you have Eros in the first house right now, if you have Aquarius in the first house, because that's where Eros is. If you have Aquarius in the first house right now, you will gain attraction with your unique personality and your unique quirks. You know, those things that make you stand out, those little personality traits that make you appear different from everyone else. Those things will make you appear to be more attractive right now. Just be mindful, because you can also be more repulsive right now by being too weird and too unusual or too rebellious and abnormal. You can also be someone who gains attraction with your personality because you're someone who is able to use your personality for the community. You might be a community leader. You might be just a very prominent figure in your community. If that's the case, those can bring you more attraction right now. Or if you're someone who is too involved with the community and isn't involved in your own personal life, doesn't have a sense of family life, doesn't have a sense of career life, work life goals outside of the whole community life, if you get what I'm trying to say. If you're someone who is too focused on your communities, you could be seen as repulsive. Now, let's say you have Scorpio in the first house. With Scorpio in the first house right now, you cannot even get attracted to someone unless they have a deep sense of confidence, unless they have a deep personality. You can't even get attracted to someone right now unless you can see their personality behind closed doors. You know, you might want to be able to see them in ways that they don't present themselves to other people right now. And unless you can do that, you won't get attracted. Now, let's say you have Eros in the second house, Aquarius in the second house. With Aquarius in the second house, you will gain attraction with your unique possessions, your unique materials, your weird things that you have, your unique sense of value. You know, this can play out in so many different ways, where the way you acquire money, the way you acquire value is in a weird and unique way. Another thing that Aquarius represents is technology, things on the internet, social media. You might gain attraction by putting your values on the internet, speaking more about your values on social media. That might gain you some more attraction from the opposite sex. Another way we can look at this is if you have, you know, any collectible items, any weird, unusual collectible items. Maybe you collect, I don't know, baseball cards. Maybe you collect crystals and gems. I don't know. Maybe you collect cars. Who knows? But these things that you collect and hoard, because the second house in Taurus energy in general is all about collecting things and holding on to things and hoarding things. This is why the moon, the ruler of Cancer, which is the claw clinging on to things, is exalted in Taurus because it loves to be in the second house. It has full potential and full reign and authority to cling on to and hang on to and suck in, pull in whatever it wants to. You get what I'm trying to say? So, those things that you collect and gather, that can gain you some sort of attraction right now. You might get someone who really likes that about you. Now, let's say you have Scorpio in the second house right now. That puts Psyche there. So with Psyche in the second house right now, you can't even get attracted to someone unless they have a deep sense of value. Unless they have a deep sense of personal respect. Someone who respects themselves, who actually has an idea of what they want and how they want to get what they want. They have a personal vision. They have a sense of inner value. Unless they have that deep sense, you won't get attracted. Or it can play out in other ways where unless they have a deep sense of physical value, you won't get attracted. So right now with Scorpio in the second house, you probably won't get attracted to someone unless they have money. Try not to be too superficial right now. But you might need to be, because that might be the thing that makes you feel most stable right now. You might be going through a chaotic moment right now in terms of your stability and finances, especially with Scorpio in the second house. So unless you see someone else who is deeply stabilized within their own life, you won't feel attracted to them. You won't feel attracted unless they have a job, unless they have a home, unless they have a car, unless they have some material possessions that prove that they are stable to a certain degree. Also, with Scorpio being the water sign, you won't be attracted to someone unless they have a deep, stable, emotional aspect to them. Like someone who is easily swayed by other people's thoughts and emotions, or someone who doesn't fully take the time to understand their own thoughts and emotions right now, you won't be attracted to them. You can only be attracted to someone who takes the time to go into their own shadows to fully understand the things that make them feel comfortable and uncomfortable. You won't feel attracted to someone who is mentally unstable right now, in other words. Now, let's say you have Eros in the third house, Aquarius in the third house. That means you will gain attraction with your unique abilities to communicate. You might speak in a weird way. You might communicate about weird things. You might communicate with weird people. You might have some unusual, unique friends, a very out of the ordinary friend group. And these things right now can actually gain you more attraction. Just hanging around those weird, different friends of yours. You might be with those friends in a particular area at a particular time where you meet someone who's attracted to you. Or other things can play out whereas you communicate in a way that's completely different than everyone else around you, or you communicate in a way that's completely different than the norm. Right now, this unique communication style can bring more heart eyes towards you. You know what I'm saying? You can also because the third house deals with intelligence and your thinking abilities and the mental processes. The third house also resonates with Mercury and Gemini energy. So with Aquarius right there and with Psyche there right now. Oh, I'm sorry, not Psyche. With Aries. Whoa, I'm all over the place. With Eros and Aquarius right now in these places where Mercury and Gemini naturally resonate with, you can gain more attraction when it comes to sharing ideas. Because these are the things that Mercury and Gemini represent. Sharing ideas, communicating ideas, having ideas in general. So your unique ideas and your ability to express them can gain you a sense of attraction right now. But let's say you have Scorpio there right now. So if you have Scorpio and Psyche in the third house right now, that means you can't even get attracted to someone unless they have a deep way to share their ideas, unless they communicate in a deep way. You don't want someone who communicates about surface level shit. You don't want to communicate. You can't get attracted to someone through small talk right now. You know what I'm saying? For you, with Scorpio in the third house, the way you're going to get attracted to someone is if they communicate about things that are deep and intense and possibly can change the way you look at life. You know, Scorpio is all about transformations. And unless this person's ideas or their ability to communicate is able to transform you, you won't be attracted to them. Right now, you want to be attracted to someone who can share new transformative ideas in a way that makes you have a paradigm shift. You know, you want someone who can take you outside of your comfort zone right now. You want someone who can basically get deep with their mental processes and actually analyze things beyond just the surface level. And speaking of comfort zones, that leads us right into the fourth house. Let's say you have Eros in the fourth house right now with Aquarius. So with Aquarius in the fourth house right now, that means you will gain attraction with your unique comfort zones. You know, those weird things that make you feel at home. Shit, you might have a weird household in general. You might have, whether it be a weird family life, a weird family dynamic, an unusual house itself. But all these things represent the fourth house. So your unique family structure, your unique house, your unique ability to gain a sense of comfortability, those can gain you attraction right now. It may be something that the way you feel comfortable is, again, going back to this idea of technology and social media. The way you might feel comfortable is by going online and going on social media, whereas other people might get a sense of comfort by getting offline and creating that sense of digital detox. But for you, you might need a bunch of technology and gadgets around you in order to feel comfortable, because that might be the things that allow you to take yourself out of this physical world. And oddly enough, using that as an example, just having a bunch of technology in the household, being on social media whenever you're at home, can place you in areas where you will gain more attraction at certain times. So that's things to be aware of too. But with Scorpio in the fourth house and Psyche there right now, you can't even get attracted to people unless they have a deep sense of comfort. You know what I'm saying? Unless they have uh, a deep sense of family. Like, unless someone is truly family oriented, you won't be attracted to them. And let's say this person doesn't even have a family, unless they have uh uh some type of deep value for where they come from, their roots, you know, whether it be their actual roots and where they come from, like their ethnicity and where they was born, or spiritually speaking, right? Like someone who has a deep metaphysical sense of where they come from. And it's because now they know where they come from, they're very comfortable in who they are, you know, or maybe it can be in certain things where someone is deeply, deeply connected with not their family, because let's say someone who doesn't even have a family, let's say it's someone who's all alone and it's just them in this world, but you're trying to figure out whether or not you should be attracted to this person or not. Unless you feel like you can see that they desire to have a family, they desire to have a sense of home for themselves where they can have their own sense of comfort. Unless you see that they have some value where they're doing things in case they'll create a family in the future or whatever the case may be, unless you see these things, you won't be attracted to this person. So that's things to keep in mind with the fourth house energies. Fifth house energy. Let's say you have Eros and Aquarius there. With Eros in the fifth house right now, you will gain attraction, right? You will gain attraction with your ability to uniquely entertain a crowd. You know, if you can get on that spotlight center stage and not worry about being embarrassed, but you can do so in a way that's very unique and original. You can do things that is very entertaining, yet at the same time mentally stimulating and intellectual because of that Aquarius fifth house energy. Because Aquarius is naturally the opposite sign of the fifth house, because the fifth house is naturally ruled by Leo, the sister sign of Aquarius. And Leo is all about entertainment, having fun, you know, enjoying yourself. Aquarius, on the other hand, is all about, I don't want to say things that are boring, but it's not about entertainment. It's all about mental stimulation rather than physical sensation and physical simulate. You know what I'm trying to say. Like Aquarius is more about mental stimulation. It's more about getting into your thoughts and ideas, just like Gemini, but seeing how far they can go and seeing how much truth to them can be seen and expressed. You know, like Aquarius is the experimenter, the scientist, whereas Leo is necessarily trying to figure out what works and is necessarily trying to figure out how things works. It just wants to go and have fun. So with Aquarius in the fifth house, putting it in that natural opposite house, what happens is someone who can entertain people through science, someone who can entertain people through mental stimulation, through philosophy, through trying to figure things out, you will have a greater chance to attract people. You know what I'm saying? You have a greater chance for people to notice you, whether it be because they actually want to pursue you romantically, or just for because people are starting to gain some sense of infatuation and curiosity. These are other things that Eros represents. But yeah, with Eros in Aquarius in the fifth house right now, you can gain attraction right now for your unique abilities to entertain. You might, I don't know, start doing something that you've never done before. You might start singing, and your ability to sing or your inability to sing will gain you more traction right now. Like, look at Ice JJ Fish, and look at all these other parody musicians who we know don't actually have any musical talent, but just how weird and unique and funny it is, we get attracted to them. You have that energy right now. But with Scorpio in the fifth house right now and Psyche there, you can't get attracted to someone unless they are very lively, very joyous, someone who can express intimacy through fun. You know, right now you can't get attracted to someone unless they can take you on a date that is fun and romantic, not just romantic. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now you want to be able to go on an amusement park dates, and you want to go-kart riding and shit like that, and all this other shit, and zip lining, and you want to have fun on your dates right now. You don't want to be attracted to someone who does the traditional, normal movies, dinner date shit. You know what I'm saying? That's if you have Scorpio in the fifth house. Another thing is with that is you can only gain attracted to someone who shares the same idea of fun as you. You know, like, unless both of you can see the same things as fun, you're not going to be attracted to this person right now. Like, if you think reading is more fun than going to the club, and this person thinks going to the club is more fun than reading, you're not going to be able to be attracted. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be too much of a mental disconnect right there with that Psyche being in the fifth house in Scorpio. Another thing is you won't gain any sense of attraction towards someone unless you intimately, that is, behind closed doors or away from the public. You won't gain attraction to someone unless you intimately experience fun with them. So whether it was like before, whether you do desire to go on a date at the amusement park or not, you won't gain attraction to someone unless you take that date. Like, even if you don't like doing shit like that, just go do some fun shit with someone, and you'll find yourself falling in love with that person that much faster than, doing a different activity. Now, let's say you have Eros in the sixth house. With Eros and Aquarius in the sixth house right now, you will gain attraction with your unique job, your unique and unusual daily routines. You might have a weird health routine. You might have a weird health deficiency or a weird health problem, whatever the case may be, right? These things can actually gain you more attraction right now. You might have a very abnormal job that people will be like, oh, what kind of job is that? I've never seen that before. And that can gain you more attraction. Or at work in general, you can gain more attraction right now by expressing your unique gifts and talents. You can gain attraction by looking for a unique job, by creating an abnormal day-to-day routine. Like, maybe you need to start going to sleep during the day. Maybe you start, maybe you need to do something abnormal. I mean, that's normal because there's lots of night owls. But you get what I'm trying to say. Like, maybe you need to start doing something abnormal in terms of your routine in order to gain more attraction, right? But it can also play out in ways where, because the sixth house also deals with service, that's how we end up calling it the house of daily routines or the house of work life, because it's the house of service. And if you find ways to help people, that is, if you find ways to be a service to people in a very unique way, you might be more attractive right now. If you start doing more social services or just helping people online, if you start helping people on social media, if you start creating a new job on social media for yourself or online or whatever the case may be in these areas, you can gain some sense of attraction. Now let's say you have Psyche there with Scorpio in the sixth house. Well, you can't even get attracted to someone unless they have a deep sense of duty, unless they have a deep sense of responsibility, unless they are deeply organized, unless they are intense and intentional with their work life, unless they have a set routine that is boosting them and growing them and getting them further in their goals. Unless they have these things, you won't be attracted. You know what I'm saying? Right now, you need someone who is carefully planned and someone who is very attentive to their health. Right now, you need to be attracted to someone who is very, what's the word that I'm looking for? They just have a deep sense of responsibility. Like, you can't be attracted to someone who's a slack off or someone who is lazy right now. You want someone who crosses their T's and dots their I's. You know what I'm saying? And even more specifically, you want to be attracted to someone who you can work with. You can't even get attracted to someone right now unless you can create a routine with them, unless you can see them on a day-to-day basis, unless you can, gain some sense of intimacy in the field of work life, right? Like, maybe you want to blend your work with their work, or maybe you met them at work and you want to spend more time with them, or maybe it's just as simple as you want to go to the gym and you want to see them go to the gym as often as you do, or whatever the case may be. But unless they can intimately connect with your day-to-day routines, you won't be attracted. Now, going on to the seventh house, if you have Eros and Aquarius in the seventh house, you will gain attraction right now with your unique ability to relate, your unique ability to create relationships, your unique ability to see things from other people's perspectives and take yourself out of your own shoes and be objective. Those things can gain you more attraction right now. And also, with the seventh house dealing with relationships, your ability to relate, it's also naturally ruled by Venus. And Venus is all about creativity, art, expression, and your unique ability to create art, your unique ability to express yourself in an artistic way can gain you more attraction right now. Also, again, with the technology symbology, if you relate yourself on technology, if you start to relate yourself more on social media, if you start to, I don't know, just structure your social media, structure your digital life in a way that it appears to be more relatable, well, then you can attract more suitors. You can attract more potential love interests, right? But let's say you have Eros and, I mean, not Eros. Let me not go to the eighth house. I forgot to say, let's say you have Psyche in Scorpio in the seventh house right now. Well, then you can't get attracted to someone unless you can see some 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 sense of relationship depth. And what do I mean by that? Someone who has empathy, someone who has the ability to take themselves out of their own shoes and see things from the other party's perspective. Someone who can do that constantly. Someone who can relate to you in an intimate way. Someone who can basically see things from your perspective, even when it seems like no one else can see things from your perspective. Unless they can do these things, you won't feel attracted to them. Now, let's say you have Eros in the eighth house. You have Aquarius. Well, with that, you will gain attraction with your unique ability to get to the bottom of things. You will gain attraction right now through weird secrets and taboos. You might have skeletons in your closet, and not no regular skeletons, you know what I'm saying, like you cheated on your test or some shit like that. No, you got some weird and unusual skeletons in your closet. And oddly enough, that can gain you more attraction right now. Because sharing those skeletons can create a deeper sense of intimacy with someone where now you've just let all your cards out and you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable. And by doing this, the other party will feel more comfortable in showing their cards and being vulnerable with you, and they'll be attracted because you did so. You get what I'm saying? So right now, any weird secrets you might have can gain you more attraction. Or more, in more ways to look at it, just that realm of secrets and taboos and metaphysics can gain you more attraction. So if you're someone who is constantly talking about, you know, spirituality, or someone who's constantly talking about things that deal with sex, or someone who's constantly talking about shadow work and etc., 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 these things can gain you more attraction. But let's say you have Scorpio in the eighth house right now. Now, this is the natural house of Scorpio. So with Scorpio and Psyche in the eighth house right now, you cannot even get attracted to someone unless they have a deep sense of metaphysicality. Unless they have a deep sense of metaphysical awareness, a deep sense of spiritual understanding. Unless they have a deep sense of shadow work. You know, like you can't even get attracted to someone unless they understand how to look at as well as transform their own shadows. If it's someone who is completely oblivious to all of their mistakes, someone who is completely oblivious to all the things that make them human, that is, all of the imperfections that they have, you won't be attracted to them. You know what I'm saying? You also won't be attracted to someone who doesn't have a sense of intimacy in general. Someone who doesn't have a sense of privacy, secrecy. Someone who always wants to make everything public, who wants to put everything on social media, who wants everyone to know all of their business. You won't be attracted to someone like that. With Scorpio and Psyche in the eighth house right now, someone needs to be somewhat secretive and private in order for you to even be attracted to them. Otherwise, you're going to feel like they just out here and for anybody. You want something that's yours. You know, that's another thing that Scorpio represents is Scorpio can be very possessive. And especially because it shares that line, that axis with Taurus, its sister sign. You know, Taurus deals everything with materials and possessions. Scorpio deals with everything that involves power and manipulation. But that gets into being very possessive. You know what I'm saying? And even that, Scorpio dealing with metaphysics and spooky shit and dark shit. Scorpios deals with possessions, getting possessed by things and shit like that. But that's a whole different conversation. The point is that, you know, wherever Scorpio is in your chart, I mentioned before, but wherever Scorpio is in your chart, you won't be attracted to that person unless you can feel like it's yours, unless you can feel like you can possess that quality for yours. For example, let's say you have Scorpio in the 7th house, like me. Well, you won't even be attracted to someone unless you feel like your relationship with them is yours. Your ability to relate with them is uniquely yours. You possess that relationship. And it's not like you own them. It's never like that. But if you have Scorpio in the 7th house, you understand what I'm saying. Or let's say with Scorpio in the 2nd house, right? You won't feel attracted to someone unless you feel as though you can have their things. Their possessions are your possessions. Their money is your money. You know what I'm saying? Again, like you don't want someone who's broke right now. And because someone who is broke right now, you're going to feel like your money is their money. And now you have to lift them up and their, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm trying to say. It can get very possessive wherever Scorpio is. So keep that in mind too. Wherever Scorpio is, based on this reading, you need to feel like that can also be yours, not just theirs. Now going on to what I was saying with the 8th house. With the 8th house and Scorpio being there with Psyche, you won't be attracted to someone unless they desire to possess you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't be attracted to someone unless they're attracted to you right now. You won't be attracted to someone unless they, you know, possess some sense of emotional depth. You know what I'm saying? But that's the best way that I can explain it right there for 8th house Scorpio psyches, because that's the natural house. And pretty much everything that comes with Scorpio is kind of what you want when in terms of being attracted right now. Like, you want dark shit. You want the mysterious shit. You want the occult shit. You want the sexual shit. You want the secretive shit. And unless that shit is there, you won't be attracted. And I mean that in an intense way. Now, let's say you have Eros in Aquarius in the 9th house. With that being said, you will gain attraction right now with your unique wisdom. And wisdom comes with experience. So you can also gain attraction right now with your unique experiences. Storytelling about your unique experiences. Going through weird and unusual situations, especially if it's online with that Aquarius shit. You know, having a unique experience and then going out and telling people about it. That can gain you some sense of attraction right now. Or you might also be someone who has an unusual wisdom. You might know a lot about some very unusual things. You might know a lot about astrology. You might know a lot about where you might know a lot about astrophysics. You might know a lot about quantum physics or whatever the case may be, is your wisdom, your knowledge right now. As long as it's unique and not common knowledge and common wisdom, that can gain you some sense of attraction. But let's say you have Eros. Oh, I keep wanting to skip. Let's say you have Aquarius. Damn. Let's say you have Psyche and Eros. Y'all know what the fuck I'm trying to say, goddammit. Let's say you have Psyche and Scorpio in the ninth house right now, where you can't get attracted unless you see some sense of wisdom. You won't be attracted to a dumbass right now. You won't be attracted to someone you feel is slow or stupid or just can't mentally grasp the same metaphysical concepts that you can grasp. You won't be attracted to someone right now unless they have a deep, analytical, yet also theoretical mind. With Scorpio in the ninth house right now, you won't be attracted to someone unless they are showing their wisdom in an intense way. You won't be attracted to someone unless their experiences also transform your experience. You see what I'm saying? So now I can go on to the 10th house. If you have Eros and Aquarius in the 10th house, you will gain attraction right now with your unique status, your unusual career. The world might look at you as being a very unusual person right now, and that can gain you more attraction. You also can gain more attraction right now by putting your status out there more on social media. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're going through in life right now, what your life status is, what your mental status is, the things that you're constantly thinking about right now. If you put these things out on social media, you gain more attraction. Because the more you do these things, the more people will start to associate these things with you, and they will start to see you as this. And that will start to become your status. So however you use social media, your social media profiles in general, those things can be used to gain you attraction. Now, let's say you have Scorpio in the 10th house. With Scorpio in the 10th house right now, you can't even get attracted to someone unless they have a deep sense of status, a deep sense of career, see, this can play out in two different ways, where you won't even get attracted to someone unless they have a spotlight being placed on their career, unless they have a sense of being a boss. If they're not the boss of something, you won't be attracted. Or it can play out where vice versa, if someone is being seen as too bossy, someone is being as too much in the spotlight, too public, too worried about their status, you won't be attracted. But even deeper, you won't be attracted to someone unless they have a deep and metaphysical and spiritual status. Or, in a very low vibrational way, you won't be attracted to someone unless they known for slinging their dick. You won't be attracted to someone unless they known for having some wet ass pussy. AKA, you won't be attracted to someone unless their status is known for how good they are sexually. So that's the lower vibration of that. 11th house. Another thing is higher vibrational, because Scorpio deals with sex, but also deals with getting to the bottom of things. And unless someone has the status of no bullshit. Unless someone is seen as a no bullshit person, unless someone is known as getting to the bottom of things, getting down to the nitty gritty and spotting out all the lies and manipulation. Unless they are known for those things, you won't be attracted to them. Now, 11th house. If you have Eros and Aquarius in the 11th house, right now, you can gain attraction through your ability to share your original ideas and unique ideas. And it's similar to the 3rd house, but the difference is that here it's about sharing your unique ideas with the community. So if you're involved in any online communities, start commenting more. If you're involved in any community activities in your actual city or whatever the case may be, start participating more, But whenever you do, you're going to gain a spotlight. You're going to gain some attraction. You're going to gain some awareness. And also, you can't even, do these things unless it's situated with associations, the things that you're associated with. Like Aquarius in the 11th house, that's the natural house of Aquarius. So with Aquarius there, Aquarius is all about your environment. And not just any environment, because the 3rd house is the environment that you live in. The 7th house is the environment that you commute with, you know what I'm saying? And you leave this environment constantly to go into that environment. It's where you go, it's where you're at when you're not at home, basically. Whereas the 11th house, Aquarius, is the environment that is outside of your normal day-to-day life. It's the environment that is outside of your neighborhood, basically. And you can think of Gemini as the city, Libra as the state, Aquarius as the country, the overall environment. Now, that being said, with Aquarius being in its natural house and with Eros being there, you can gain attraction by placing yourself in environments that are away from home and, going abroad. You can gain some attraction by just going outside of your community. You can also gain some attraction by going on social media. You know what I'm saying? Again, with the whole Aquarius thing representing technology and the 11th house being the natural house of Aquarius, it's like more than any of the other placements that I've mentioned in this video, you have a greater chance of finding your love interest on Tinder, or you have a greater chance of, I should say, attracting people on Tinder or attracting people on Instagram and social media, whatever the case may be. Like right now with Aquarius and technology in the 11th house and all of these things, you have a greater ability to gain attraction whenever it comes to using social media in any way at all. Like for you, you can just like a fucking picture or like a post and that can gain you attraction, where other people, they might actually have to leave more energy. They might have to actually comment. They might actually have to DM and etc. etc. But because it's in the natural house of technology and social media, all you gotta do is scratch the surface and you're gonna get some attention. You're gonna get some attraction. But let's say you have Scorpio there with the 11th house. Well, you can't even get attracted to someone unless they have a unique and original idea to present. especially on social media. Like right now, you won't even get attracted to someone unless they have a very weird and unusual and mysterious social media page. You won't get attracted to someone unless they have a private account. And if they have a public account, you won't get attracted to them unless their public account is dealing with things that are very deep and metaphysical and transformative. For example, like speaking about trauma, speaking about sex. It doesn't have to be sexual traumas neither. Those things can be separate. But sex, or speaking about trauma, or speaking about things that other people are afraid to speak about. You see what I'm saying? Unless this person's social media is scary, and I'm not saying it's scary to you, but I'm saying unless they're doing things that other people will be scared to do on their social media, unless they're doing these things, you won't be attracted to them. Or a more physical way to look at this is unless you can intimately connect with them through social media and technology, unless you can talk to them in a DM and find out who they are and what they're about. You don't even want to talk to them in person. You won't even want to be attracted to them. You won't even want, you know what I'm saying? You're more likely to want to get to know someone through texting right now rather than all in someone's personal space and all in their face. You know what I'm saying? Unless you can feel someone's energy out through social media, unless you can feel someone's intentions out through technology, unless you can feel like you can intimately understand someone through this technical aspect, you won't be attracted to them. You get what I'm saying? Now, last but not least, the 12th house. If you have Eros and Aquarius in the 12th house right now, you can gain some sense of attraction with your unique imagination. You can attract others with your original ability to create. You know, the 12th house is all about your imagination. The 12th house is all about your creativity. And imagination and creativity is all stemming from the subconscious mind, which again is the 12th house. So, your unique and unusual way of structuring and analyzing your subconscious mind will grant you more attraction, more hard eyes. You know what I'm saying? Your ability to uniquely express your imagination, your ability to uniquely create art in general will grant you more expression, because the 12th house is where Venus goes to get exalted. Venus being the planet of art, and the 12th house being the house of illusions and delusions and imagination. This is the house of art and creativity. And your unique art, your unique creativity, your unique way of diving into your imagination and illusions and delusions will grant you more attraction. You know what I'm saying? But let's say you have Scorpio and Psyche in the 12th house right now. If that's the case, well, you can't even get attracted to someone unless they have a deep imagination. If their imagination is only focused on this physical realm, you can't get attracted to them. You need someone whose subconscious mind is constantly focused on the deeper aspects of life. You need to be attracted to someone who doesn't just create for the sake of creating. They create from a very meaningful space, a very spiritual space, a deep space, whether it be from emotional depth or psychological depth, intellectual depth, spiritual depth. But you want someone who creates from a deep space, someone who views the world with a very penetrating lens. You get what I'm saying? You want someone whose mind is constantly analyzing and sorting through data to figure out the truth of things. More importantly, you can't get attracted to someone who is deeply invested into an illusion, who is deeply invested into lies. You understand? And even if they are very spiritual and very metaphysical, you can't be you can't be attracted to them unless they're in that realm of spirituality and metaphysically so deeply that it transforms your realm of thinking about it too. You get what I'm saying? So these are the attraction energies for Libra.